So guys, welcome all of you to this tutorial session, and again my name is Taha, so I will be taking this tutorial. You might have your midterm examination also going on, so I would try to make it not take too much of time for this problem, because I think we already brushed up with velocity polygon. That was the last time, and today's tutorial we will be using those concepts of velocity polygon that we learned last lecture and last tutorials in order to solve the acceleration polygon. So I think all of you have the mechanism with you. So those who didn't get it, so you can pick it up, and you can also download it from the Quarkus. So the problem is, the mechanism that we will be solving today is it's kind of again a 6-link mechanism, and you're going to need a velocity polygon. So I will not be solving velocity polygon for you guys, because it will take another more than 1.5 hours. So I have the velocity polygon with me, so I will be using those directly, and I'll give you the values when we are using that in acceleration polygon. But when you try this problem with yourself, so you can first you have to draw the velocity polygon, and then you can go with this problem. So let me just start. So it's not that tough, acceleration polygon. It does look a little bit tedious, but if you have a good concepts regarding your velocity polygons, then you're in good hands. So I'm still looking for my, okay. Okay, so the mechanism that you have in front of you is an inverted slider crank mechanism, and yeah, so we have been given with a input that is link 2. So we will be starting with that, and the most important concept that we will be using in today's acceleration polygon is the one which was covered by Professor yesterday, like a slider on the link 3 that you have. So there we're gonna stumble up with Coriolis. In yesterday's professor lectures, the Coriolis component was 0 because it was just a plain slider. But in this, the slider, the link 3 is also rotating in the direction shown. So we will definitely have a Coriolis for the slider that is shown on the link 3. So let's just start with the velocity polygon. I'll show you. So in order to solve this mechanism or any acceleration polygon, you first need to have a velocity polygon drawn by yourself. If you don't have the velocity polygon, then you cannot solve this acceleration polygon. So I already solved the velocity polygon with me. So let me just show you how it does look. So okay. So this is the velocity polygon that for this mechanism will look like. Okay. So I will be using directly values from it, so you can solve it by yourself. Okay. So in order to proceed, so whenever we are solving a mechanism, whether it's a velocity or acceleration polygon, or when you go ahead, you will have to draw the your force polygons also. So first we always start with the very easy one in order to have a starting scratch, because as you go, in order to solve the mechanism using polygon methods, the most important thing is you have to start from the easiest one. If you directly go and start with your 3, like B3 on 3 or B2 on 3 or 4, so I don't think, like I won't be able to solve it. I don't know, might be you will able to solve it. So we will be, which is the easiest point that you think in order to start this, which acceleration can we find out? The first one, just a random guess. I mean 2 with respect to what? Because we have, like, we can find 2 with respect to 3, or 3, or 4, like whatever you want to pick up. So which one? Yeah, correct, with respect to 1, because it's like 1 is your ground point, and any acceleration of velocity with respect to your ground point is going to be your absolute one. So directly, if you choose 1, so or ground, you will directly know the exact position of point B, because in acceleration it's not like straightforward like we have a velocity polygon where we just directly find, we draw the velocity polygon and we directly find these points. So for example, if this is a velocity polygon, so we directly draw the velocities for like link 2, we can directly get point B3 and B2. But this doesn't happen with acceleration. So in order to find the acceleration points on the acceleration polygon, you have to do a little more complicated things. So let's just start with the first one. So what do we need first? What are we given? Again, sorry for my bad handwriting. Whenever you don't understand, just give me a heads up. Huh? So what are we given? We are given the velocity polygon. So this is not given, actually I drew it, I solved it, so I have already, but you have to solve it first. Okay, so we have the velocity polygon first. The second thing that we need is what is the input. So in velocity polygons we generally have input velocity, so in acceleration polygons we have input acceleration. So this is mandatory. If somehow it's not mentioned in the question, then you can surely ask for it. That would be by mistake. So we are given the so input acceleration. So how much is input acceleration? Okay, so the input acceleration is the theta double dot 2 we are given. So let me just see. Okay, yeah. So yeah, theta 2 was given to us. So this is clockwise, and this is input velocity, which is 30 radian per second. And the most important thing to focus on is it's given as constant, like here. So when any
Sorry, do you have a brighter pen?
Oh yeah. Okay, let me just see, and I can. Oh yeah, sorry.
That made it worse. I mean, it's the reflection from the.
I'll see if. Does it work now?
Why is it 20 radians per second? Shouldn't it be 30?
Oh yeah, I told you it's a bad handwriting.
Apologies.
That's 30?
Yeah.
Okay.
So whenever you have confusion regarding my handwriting, then you just ask me. Yeah, I know how it is. So I think now it's not that too reflective, right? Yeah. Yeah. So theta 2, I mean the input velocity is given as 30 radian per second, like clockwise direction, and it's also given it is constant. Okay. So constant means you have already given your input acceleration. Okay. What does that mean? What is your input acceleration for link 2? 0. So yeah. So theta double dot 2 is your 0. Okay. So the first one, now we will start drawing the acceleration polygon. So the first one is to find the easy one, which is your acceleration of ABO2. So ABO2 is your acceleration of B. You can say the absolute acceleration of link 2. So we're going to find acceleration of ABO2. Okay. So for this, it means your point B is on 2. Okay. So this is what we are finding on.
It's a bit hard to see.
Sorry?
Yeah, sorry. It's.
The light is like making it really hard to see.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So let me just.
Darker pen.
This one I think will work on. Let me just see.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Works fine, right? So the red pen is working?
That
Okay. So everybody is fine with the red penning? I mean, is it visible clearly? Thank you. Okay, yeah, so I was saying we will be finding acceleration of AbO2. So AbO2 is the acceleration of point B. So we are assuming B is on link 2. So with respect to O2, so that we can say it's the absolute acceleration of B. So the first acceleration equation is, so okay, so this would be your case 1. The two special cases that Prof discussed, so this would be, if we assume that point B is on link 2, so this would be case 1. So in that case, the acceleration equation would be AB2O2, let me just write 2. So B2O2, that means B is on link 2. So A2B2 would be your AB2O2, the normal component as well as the tangential component. Okay. So this is your case 1. Visible, right? It's not working.
Can we just maybe move it like not directly under the light? This is like kind of reflecting with it.
Nope.
No, that's worse.
Better? Looks better? Okay. Thank you. So yeah, so acceleration of A2B2 would be acceleration A2B2 normal component and your tangential component. So let's just find one by one. What would be your normal component? AB2O2 normal would be your RB2O2 theta dot 2 whole square, and the direction, where would be the direction? The direction, where would be the direction of normal component? Anybody? Yeah, in the radial direction. So that would be your RB2O2. So since the normal component is negative, so in the acceleration, in the mechanism, so if this is your link, so where should I put the direction? Towards the O2, right? So yeah, so this, I'm just marking it roughly, so it's just for understanding only where is the direction. So I've taken this direction as your minus RB2O2. Okay. So let's just see, do we have a value, because we need some magnitude to place this on the acceleration polygon. So RB2O2 we can have, okay, theta 2, do we have theta 2? Okay, so theta 2 is given to us, that is 30 radian per second. So if we directly put the values, so what is R? Let me just grab this. I have the measurements. So it's almost 5.8, 5.9. So let's round it off for 6.0, because that would be much easy during the calculation. Your theta 2 was 30, so this is a whole square and the direction would be, yeah. So what would be the magnitude? This is 5400 centimeter per second square. Okay, so this is 5400 centimeter per second square. Yeah.
Sorry, in that first line in the blue where you put a little red subscript, are you saying that acceleration, no, sorry, to the left of that? I think, no, sorry, to the left, there's ABO2 equals ABO2. What are the subscripts saying?
So the subscript saying the acceleration of your point B with respect to O.
Like, is the same thing equal to? Yeah. Let's just say ABO2
Yeah.
the absolute, like, AB.
Yeah, because whenever you are like with respect any acceleration or any velocity with respect to your ground point would be your absolute value.
Yeah, but does that say AB2O2 equals AB2O2?
Yeah, I just repeated, so
Just repeat.
I will just cut it out. Thank you. Okay, so the next thing is we need to choose a scale. Okay, so it's up to you, whatever scale that you want to choose. You are practicing. I can choose mine also. We have a liberty over here. So I'm gonna choose a scale 1 centimeter per second square equals to 1 equals to 1 centimeter. So this is my scale. I have chosen 1 centimeter equals 1000 centimeter per second square. So how much this would give us? So your 5.4. So your AB2O2 would be your 5.4 centimeter. So we now have to, we know the direction, we know the magnitude. Now we have to place it over the acceleration polygon. So again, we'll just take the parallel lines. It's just a easy thing to do this. Okay, so we'll just mark, we know how much it is. So this is 5.4. So yeah, this would be your AB2O2. Okay. So now we have AB2O2 in our diagram. We have the magnitude, we have the acceleration. Okay. So the next part that we have to solve it. So this is what your normal component, you can say. So I just marked it, so let me just unmark it like in a virtual way. So we'll just say this is a normal component. Okay. For right now. So the next part is we need to solve for, yeah. So if we say this as A, so let's just mark it as a B part. Okay. So your tangential component. So for your tangential component, what is the formula? Anybody remember? Yesterday only you have. In your notes, just have a look. So it's r theta 2. So what I mean, in your tangential component, so in your tangential component is a function of theta double dot, right? So your tangential component is also always a function of theta to double dot. That means in the formula of tangential component there is a theta double dot. So theta double dot 2, that is In your case, it's 0. So that's why I didn't write the formula in order to save the space, because now it's going to be very crowded. So directly your tangential component is going to be 0 over here. So what does that mean? You don't have a tangential component. So the AB2O2 would directly equals to AB2O2, the normal component. So that means we already found our point B. So that the end point is your B2 point. So far so good. So we already found the point B2. So that is why it is very important you to pick what point you are starting with, because if you would have chosen some other point, then I don't think one would be able to do that, because you won't be able to find the end point. So that's why it's very important to choose from what point you are starting from. So we have now, that's why, so now we can rub it as a normal component. So this is your full acceleration. Yeah. Okay. So the second step is, okay, so this was point 1, this is point 2. Okay. Or I'll just take another sheet to show the calculation. Will it work for you? Or I just use the same sheet for the calculation in order to have more visualization, because that would make it more crowded. Okay. So I will use a separate sheet to do the calculation. So, okay. So your next, so the next point that we need to discuss is your point, yeah, next acceleration. So what would be, what we can choose the next acceleration? Anybody would like to volunteer and tell me which point that we can go for? Okay, let's just choose B3. So because now we want to, for the link 3, so we did for link 2, now we will move on to link 3 directly, okay, because link 3 is also with respect to ground. Now there is a one component of link 3 with respect to ground, so that would be a little easy for us to place something on the acceleration polygon. So for B3, now assume B3 is on 3 as given. So if we find out the acceleration of B3 and O3. Yeah. So the acceleration of, or let me just write in a very, so your AB3 would be your acceleration of O3 plus B3 O3. Yeah. Okay. So this would be your equation for A3 if we are talking about with respect to your ground point O3. So but we already know that O3 is 0 because it's a ground point. So we are left with A, B3, O3. So again this would be your which case? Case 1. So the 2 points on the same link. So what it would give you, a normal component A, B3, O3, a normal component and A, B3, O3, a tangential component. Okay, so this must good. Now let's just focus on one by one, the normal and tangential. Okay, so the normal A, B3, O3, the normal component. The formula would be R, B3, O3, theta 3 dot whole square, and where would be the direction? B3 and O3. Yeah, in the negative radial direction. This is clear, right? So if we go and see the mechanism, yeah, if you see the mechanism, so the direction would be B3, O3. Yeah, clear? So now let's just see, do we have a magnitude, do we have some substance to put in the magnitude, like something? So what do we need? We need, yeah, So we need RB303, we need theta 3. Okay, so this is very easy to find out. But what about theta 3 dot?
We're given the value.
You have to find the value. It's given to me, not to you. No, in the question, yeah, sorry, I forgot to hide the question value. Actually, even in the question, it's not given to you. So in the actual case in your exam, you have to find out the value. Yeah, it's just for my simplicity, like to make things easy for you also. So just forget that it's not given to you in your exam. Huh? So you have to find out, and how you're gonna find out? Using the velocity polygon. So yeah, see. So this is the first gem that you have to get. Then only you will have to go there. Okay, even the value is not correct. Okay, so the velocity, so there's a conflict with the velocity polygon that I have and the value that is given to you. That's why I'm saying, so just draw the velocity polygon. Okay, so see the acceleration value which is given to you as theta 3 dot this, and the velocity polygon that I have just found. So there's a conflict in that because I found the velocity as a 40.39 centimeter per second, but in this it's given 20.3 radian per second. So I don't know which one is correct. So I probably know mine is correct, but in order to simplify it, so I'll just use this one only because it's directly given to you for this simplicity. It won't change your acceleration polygon, okay? So it will be same, only the values will change. So whenever the problem is given to you, the new one, so you will be in a good shape. You have to find your own velocity polygon and you have to find the own velocities. So right now, what velocities I'm using, it's not a matter of concern for you guys. Okay, so okay, for the now you can assume, okay, theta 3 is also given to you. So let's just put in the formula and see what magic number we get. So, okay, what is RB303? This is not given to you. That you have to find out. .6. I generally measure the links in the mechanism from the center point. Like for example, if this is a circle now, this is a one link. So the center of this circle to the center of this circle, I take the links. So this is almost 5.5, so 5.5, 5.6, so let's just say 5.5. 5.5. Okay. What is theta 3? This is given as 20.3 whole square. Okay, I'm just putting the magnitude. What number it gives us? Anybody have the calculator? Because I changed the value. Come on guys, you are tech savvy, you have lots of gadgets on your table, just give me a number. This is what I am getting, I don't know what you are getting. Okay, so okay, let's just make, okay, it's 2.26. So now we need to scale it up. So scaling, it will make 2.3 centimeter. Okay, so this is it's just a normal round off. Okay. So now we know the direction, we know the magnitude. So where would be the starting point of this one? Oh, 3. Okay, yeah, that's nice. Okay, so let's just play with our stuff and make it parallel. Like in your midterm and your end term exam, all you have to do by your hands. So this is 2.3. So I'm darkening it because we already know the magnitude and the direction. Okay. So this is your A B3 O3 normal component. Okay, I'm not marking what point do we have because we don't know the end point.
How did you say earlier that like the theta 3 dot that we get wouldn't affect our answer?
No, not in this case because it's just a learning tutorial. But in your real case, no, obviously it's a value, so it will just kill everything. Yeah. Sorry.
When you're scaling the acceleration so that you can match the scale, do you always round up or kind of do you round up?
I didn't hear. Yeah.
When you're rounding the acceleration so that you can use the scale, right? Do you always round up or can I round normally?
It's up to you wherever, because there is a like a rule to rounding off. So for example, if you have like 2.56 and 2.53, so just round it off, like it doesn't matter, like we'll just give it's a matter of point only, so yeah, but there is a rule for rounding off. So where were we? Okay, yeah, so we have the normal component, and now the next thing is we need to find the tangential component. So let's just go and see what about tangential component. So we have A, B3, O3 tangential. So what would be the formula for this? Yeah, it would be something, right? But we don't. We know the formula, but we don't know the magnitude of theta 3 double dot. Okay, so the formula would be, let me just write, R B3 O3 theta 3 double dot. Direction would be in the direction of theta 3. Okay, so this is the number that we don't have. So is it because since the first input like the theta double dot 2 is 0, what about this one? Is it going to be 0? So because input is a constant velocity, to is this also going to be a constant velocity and this number 0? I heard a little whispering and that was correct. So no, yeah. So this is right because if the mechanism, the magnitude is not changing, even if the direction is changing now constantly, so that will give you an acceleration. So that's why that could be the one reason here. So we cannot put this as a 0, but we have the direction, so we can place the direction of this acceleration over the on the acceleration polygon. So where would be the direction of this? Just a simple perpendicular to. So I'm just making the dotted line. Okay, so it could be anywhere. I don't know the exact direction, so I just made the dotted line. This is visible, right? Okay, okay. So now in order to find, okay, so what would be the end point of this? If suppose if we know the tangential acceleration also, suppose if we have the magnitude and we place it here, so what would be the end point of that? B3, yeah. So now the task is to locate B3. Okay, yeah.
Could you repeat why, even though theta 3 dot is constant, why theta 3 double dot is not 0?
Yeah, so particularly in this mechanism, I don't know because once we solve the mechanism, then we will see how it is moving. But one reason that I could say, like if the magnitude is not changing, suppose the magnitude of theta 3 is not changing, so one can say there is no acceleration, but the direction is changing. So because of the change in direction, the acceleration could comes up.
Changing theta 3 or theta 3 dot?
Theta 3 dot. If the theta 3 is changing, theta 3 dot would be changing.
But, so you said maybe the magnitude stays the same, but the direction's changing.
Yeah, so because of that could be the one reason why the input is a constant, why the input acceleration is 0 and we still have a theta 3 double dot. Yeah.
Okay, then reason why the other theta 2, like for theta 2 dot, why is theta 2 double
dot equal to be 0, then
It's given. It's given.
Today I learned.
It's given.
Sounds good.
Yeah. So it's given. So I'm not controlling the theta double dot 2 because it's given.
Explicitly told us.
Yeah, they explicitly told you that it is 0. Because in your question it is given, it's a constant. Yeah, you see it's mentioned here. It's constant. So that's why it is 0. So yeah. Okay, so we will be getting B3 somewhere on this end. Okay, so one point that you should note, because now we will find B3 with some intersection. Okay, so the in order to find like what we are gonna need to intersect, but one thing is sure, the B3 will lie on this line only. Okay, I think this is understood to everyone. Okay, so B3 could be anywhere. Okay. So the next thing, in order to find B3, now the things will get a little complicated. So I'm just looking at an easy way to show you guys. Okay, so in the last lecture, Professor explained. So whatever the last lecture was there, now we will use that concept to find the where the B3 is. Okay, so the next acceleration that we are going to pick up, maybe it will create a lot of chaos in the room. Okay, so we will be finding the acceleration of B3 with respect to B2, the points, okay, B3 with respect to B2. So see, on the acceleration, on the mechanism, we have B2 on 2 and B3 on 3. So now we will be finding on B3 on, with these 2 points. I hope you remember in the last lecture, Prof showed the slider when the slider was moving in this direction, he took one point, imaginary point with respect to ground, which was behind the slider, just to make it a little simple. So let me just write the equation and whole thing, and then just we'll get into the discussion. Okay, so the acceleration of B3 I'm again writing here. Okay, so another way to write the acceleration of B3 would be with respect to B2. This is clear? This one. Also, this is very clear.
So, okay, I asked a lot of questions, I'm sorry.
No worries, yeah.
Are you, like, when you say B3 on B2, are you saying the acceleration of B3 with respect to B2?
Yes.
Okay.
So, this equation we can write AB3 equals to AB2 plus AB3. So, this means the with respect to B2. Okay. So, now for this, if you focus on this part, okay, so this is what case? For this part only. Again, I heard a correct whisper. Yeah. So this is a case 2. Any doubt? Because we are assuming like, and again, so the point B3 on 2, where is? Yeah, the point B3 on 3 and B2 on 2. At this point of time, we at particularly this instant only, we are assuming they are on the same positions. Okay. There could be, when the mechanism change, there could be like B2 on 2 will go some other way and B3 on 3 will go some other position. I don't know where they are going to go. But in order to solve at this particular time, and whenever the questions are given to you in the question papers, so in order to solve, you can assume like B3 on 3 and B2 on 2 are at the same locations. So that what makes it a case 2. Otherwise, you won't be able to make it case 2. So we assumed that. So if we split, the B3, B2 acceleration. So what would be the two components in here for the case 2? Do anybody remember? So that is sliding and a Coriolis. Yeah. Okay. So now we will focus on solving these 3 parts. Okay, let's just focus on the sliding. Okay, the formula for sliding acceleration is r double dot b3 b2 in the direction of r b3 and O3. So the direction would be, so this is the r double dot. Professor also explained to you what is r double dot. R double dot, you can say the only linear acceleration and of that point B3, so which is on link 3. So you can assume that the linear acceleration, and it will move linearly on what? Sorry? You were saying something?
Sorry, could you repeat what the subscripts are for the last line that you just wrote?
Oh, these?
Yeah, like all the whole line.
Oh, it's A slider, B3O3, R double dot, B3, B2, and sorry, I just missed something. Yeah. Sometimes also I get also very annoyed with my handwriting, so just bear with me. But it was not always the case, yeah. Once I think in one time I got best handwriting award. I know you can imagine who was the judge, but yeah, I did get. Yeah.
3 2 3 2 and 3 3.
Yeah. 3-3. So 3-3 means the point for that point. Yeah, RB3. So that RB3 on that point, and the direction would be, it's sliding on this now. That's why.
Sorry, can you explain how it's like case 2? Because for me, like that point is on like link 3 and the point is on link 3. I don't get how it's sliding.
No. We are talking about B3 and B2. So B3 is on your point. They are on the same slider point, the circle that you can see where the link 4 is connected to 3. So everything is happening in backside. So we are talking about, it's my pen. So B2, so the 2 is also there, the point, and that point, the B point, so it's on, it's there, and we are talking on B3 is on 3. So both the points in this point of situation in the mechanism are on the same point. So you can imagine like 1 point and 2 points like this.
And they're both sliding.
Yeah. At this point of time, they are doing this motion. So, okay. So do we have, okay, now we don't, I think so, we don't have R double dot. Okay, so what do we have in there? And what would be the next Coriolis component? So acceleration, Coriolis, B3, and B2 would be your 2 times of R B3 B2 theta 3. I think this makes sense. The last formula. Okay. So now if we put the magnitude in here, okay, so what is R dot B3 B2? So R dot B3 B2 is the linear velocity between these 2 points. Okay, yeah.
He has a question.
Okay, so why aren't all the subscripts B3, B2? How come you have some O's in there? Like, why not just all B3, B2?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, okay. Yeah, those are just a little thing that you guys can do.
Like for the sliding too?
For the sliding too?
Like, shouldn't it be IR B2, B3? Or B3, B2, sorry?
No, the direction would be like O3, na? So direction would be in this direction only. Now where is the mechanism? So that O3. So see, this O3 is just to show the direction, where the direction goes. So the direction is going like towards this one. So that's why I have placed that one in order to show the direction.
Can I do B3, B2?
You can do that, but like if I would have done that, that would be like a lot of questions, because it would be very difficult for you to imagine, because they are just on the same and then anybody will say when they are touching, then how the direction is in this one. So that's why in order to simplify that thing, I just place the direction directly. You can do that. You also had a question.
No, I was just saying that he had a
Oh.
question.
Thank you. So yeah, if we put the magnitudes, we are already given. So I'm just taking this inches as a centimeter, okay, for my, because my every measurement is in centimeter for me, so I just changed the units. So it would be 2, 140, and the theta 3 dot was 20.3. Okay, the number. This would give me 5680 centimeter per second square, and that would make it 5.68 centimeter. Okay, now the direction of Coriolis's component. Where would be the direction of this one? Coriolis's component direction. Anybody would like to take a guess? Just take some time, yeah. Yeah, it would be perpendicular to 3 only, but which way? Oh, towards the down to the left, yeah. True. So that would be your Coriolis's component. But what I want you to guys focus on, you're saying this is Coriolis's component. Yeah, that is correct. Okay. But if you see, you're finding here B3, B2, the Coriolis's component of B3, B2. Okay. So, and so the direction that that we have found, this is the Coriolis's direction for B2, B3. So now anybody could just tell me, it's very easy to find where the direction of B3, B2 would lie. So, any guesses? B2. You reverse the subscripts, that means now you have changed. Yeah, correct. So the Coriolis's component would be, for this one, is in this direction, so that would be your AC, B3, B2. Okay, we have the magnitude as well as the direction of Coriolis's component. So now let's just see, we can place it on our velocity diagram. So where would be the starting point of this one?
I have a question. How did we know that one of them was point left or the other? Like, I know they're supposed to be opposite, but how did you pick like B2, B3 point?
No, I mean, we know the direction of the A Coriolis's B3, B2.
How do we know that that's one?
Oh. So see, yesterday the direction I have, let me just show you how to find out I have my own my tricks to find out the direction of Coriolis's component, but I don't want to use them because I will be looking for what professors have for you. So just give me. In your book also there is a table given for each cases, so I'm just looking for that. Oh yeah. This is from book only. So this is these are the 4 cases which you will encounter the Coriolis's component in the direction. So which case do we have? So we have the rotation of axis is in this direction, okay, and the slider is sliding in this direction. So can you match up the case? So this is this one, okay. So the direction would always like this one, okay. So that's how we know the direction of this one. And now we are reversing the subscript because the relative motion is changing. So that's why it will be pointing upward. Yeah.
Where in the textbook is that diagram located? Do you know, like,
I don't know the exact number, but it would be in the textbook only. I don't know the page number. Okay. Yeah. And like you just go to find where the Coriolis section is given. So in the Coriolis section only you will find the direction. Or if you want me, I can just put this up. Let me just mark it. So we were putting up our acceleration. Coriolis acceleration component. So let me just go and see. So we know the direction. So look, in order to clearly like have a velocity polygons are very easy to make because those are direct. But in acceleration, it's very confusing when Coriolis comes and the slider and points come. So you will I would suggest you to practice like 2 or 3 problems by yourself, and that would help you in a much better shape for your exam. Then only you will understand what's happening. So the number is 5.68. Okay. Okay. Now, where would be the sliding? The line is not parallel. This line is not parallel. Okay, so the sliding component of this one would always will be parallel to your Coriolis component. Okay, so I was talking about this one. Okay, so this, if you want to locate this one, the sliding component, so this component would be perpendicular to your Coriolis. Okay, so what would be the end point of that sliding component? Yeah. So that means if we draw a line perpendicular to your Coriolis component, okay, so B3 has to lie on this line only. Okay, but we also know that B3 lie on this line also, the tangential component for B3O3, right? So that it means the intersection of these two lines will give you point B3. Yeah. So that's how we find B3. So just do nothing and draw a perpendicular line over here.
Is that subscript supposed to be B2, B2?
Oh, I again did something. No. Okay, so it would be pointing upward. Okay, So which acceleration is this? This is B3, B2, Coriolis and sliding. Okay, so that means we can now darken the line for the normal for the tangential component of B3 O3. Okay, and the direction would be it's visible, right? The subscripts, I know it's very small because I don't have space there. Yeah, so that is B3, B2. This is also B3, B2. Now the subscripts are correct. And that's B3, O3 tangential and normal B3, O3. So we can mark the point B3 over here. We got B3.
Is that it?
What?
Is that it? Is that all there's on?
Do you see? We have a C point to find out.
Pardon?
Sorry, you were saying, is that it for the mechanism?
No, I mean what's the question? What are we trying to find?
First, we have to draw the acceleration polygons.
So that's done, right?
No, that's what I'm telling you now. So you see the mechanism. That's what I just told you. You see the mechanism. You have a C point also. Okay. So what about C? Any suggestion how we reach C? Last time I think we did a velocity polygon and we have the similar thing in that, but those were lying in a single line. What about this one? How do we go and project C over there? Yeah, acceleration image, we can use that. There are other methods also. You can use the same, like the method that we have did, like using the equations, magnitude, and then placing them on the polygon. So I don't know how much time that would take. I haven't tried, and I won't recommend you also not to try. So yeah, to get the C, we are going to use acceleration image. So last time it was on a single line, so we use the similarity condition because we can't just place the image, we have to scale it down. So we use this ratio and proportion, the similarity condition. What about this one? How do we do it? Where is C? Okay, so what are the three? What is the condition for image? What is the condition for image? Because we can't just randomly choose any points and just pick those and throw it here. So it has to be some condition. What is that condition? Sorry?
3 points on the same line.
3 points on the same link. So for the C, what points do you think they are on the same link? Can you pick me? Give me that 3 points. Sorry? Yeah. O3 and B3 and C. So right now they are not making a triangle. So first we need to make a triangle, okay, to see whether they are doing or not. So let me I'm just using a pencil again, so because that's a rough sketch. So you need not to draw the triangle by yourself. I'm just doing it for your understandability, okay. So if you have that everything in your mind, you can just do everything directly on your acceleration polygon, okay. So because now I'm creating a link, an imaginary link extension, which will, so is the dotted triangle visible? No, let me just use. So all the dotted lines are hypothetical, okay, imaginary. Everything is in mind. So the dotted thing is on paper, what's happening in the mind. Okay. So now you can see the dotted triangle. So this is an extension or an hypothetical link that we have created so that we can assume the B3, O3 and C are on the same link. Okay, now they look like it's a triangular link in a hypothetical manner, which looks, now we have to translate this triangle on our acceleration polygon. So any idea how do we do it? Because I'm not going to cut the triangle like professor showed and paste it on that one. So, and that's not how it's going to work. So what do you think, how we can do this? Like your geometrical concepts that you have learned, like constructions in your high schools maybe, or your first year, second year. So just give me any hint how you can project this triangle on that acceleration polygon. So where are we? So where is O3? OA is your O3, okay. You have B3, okay. So indirectly you have a baseline. If you join OA, or you can say O3 to your B3, so you have a hypothetical baseline. You can see, or you can use a dotted line over there. But yeah, so now you have a baseline. You have one triangle. You are creating an image, and what does image means? We are creating a similar triangle. So what is the rule for similar triangle? How do we create a similar triangle? I mean, what does similar triangle means? How we can say that this triangle is similar to that triangle that we are gonna create?
Scaled by the same factor.
Sorry?
All sides scaled by the same factor.
All sides are scaled by the same factors, okay. But yeah, so you have the two sides. So how will you find it? Ratios. So okay, so with your ratio, I get you can create a ratio for your base, like all the yeah, you just find out the common ratio from your base link to that link, and you can use to find out the length of these two links, and then you will intersect those two lines, okay. And another, like an easy thing is just measure the angles there, create the angles there, and just intersect the lines. So you need not to do the ratio calculations. I'll just show you. Where's the protector? Okay, so see, if you measure this angle, where is, if you measure this angle, and if you measure this angle, okay, because you know the base, you have the angles, and we'll just replicate these angles over here. So first let's just join a hypothetical line, okay. Is it visible? Okay, yeah. Okay, so now we have to create C somewhere. So let's just see what angles do we have. So the angle, your C, O3 and B3, okay. So this angle is how much? I measured it. Well, let me just measure it again. Okay, if you don't have a protector, then you can, and you have a compass, so you can use your compass to create this angle. So it's nearly 35 that I am getting, and you can see. So I'll just take it like approximately 35 degree, okay. I just measure another angle. So angle C B3 O3 is approximately how much? I have a number, 23 degree, okay. So these are the two angles that we have, and now let's just take that on the diagram. So this is B3, so that would be your O B3, and sorry, this is C B3 and O3. So this angle we will make 23. So it would be somewhere here. So this is a line, and similarly create a C O3 and B3 angle as 35 degree. So the intersection point will give you C. So this is how we find C. Do we get it, C? So now we have C, so we can just use the darker, don't do the, to complete the image. No need to complete the circle. We just wanted to find C. Okay. Now when we have C, we need to work now what acceleration from C we can get in the acceleration polygon. So, okay, I can do that here only. Okay. So for acceleration of C, AC, I can write, so first I will write C, the acceleration of C with respect to B3. Okay. So what would be the acceleration of C with respect to B3? So what link we are talking about? We are talking about this link, the hypothetical single link that we have created.
How did you know C was to the right of OA and not to the left? How do you know it was on like the right side, not the left side?
So if you, so that's what similarity comes up. If you just make it see this side, okay, yeah, about the directions, yeah, let's just complete it, okay, and see.
Like, you know what I mean? How do you know it's not flipped, you know?
Okay, you're talking about how it's not left.
Right, like how did you make the angle go to the right and not to the left?
Okay, yeah, just a moment. Okay, yeah, so let's just write the equation, we'll just reach to the answer, okay? Hold your question. Acceleration of C when we write with respect to B3, so it would be your A, C, B3 tangential plus A, C, B3 normal. And if we write it acceleration of C with respect to O3, it would be your A, C, O3 normal plus A, C, O3 tangential. Okay. So now let's just focus on this one only. Okay. So if we focus on the normal component, what would be the normal component? A, C, B3 normal. It would be your R, C, B3 theta dot C B3, I mean CB3, I mean this link I am calling CB3 link, and the direction I R B C B3. Okay, and what about this one? This one, if we talk, if I talk about A normal C O3, it would be minus R C O3 theta dot square C O3 I R B O3. Okay, so if this is the direction of this component A normal C O3, so this is your C O3, so the direction would always lie in this direction. Okay, so it would be starting from O and it will go to C. Yeah, so that's how we got the direction. So if you focus on a normal component of CO3, that would be your RCO3 theta dot CO3, the rotation, the speed that we have, and IRBO3. So this means the direction would be towards this. Okay. So now if you want to place this direction on this triangle, So if you're saying if we place the C in this side, so this won't be parallel to this. Okay. So even if you don't know which direction the C is, I just mark the C right now. So let's just forget we have C over here. Let's just place this direction on that acceleration polygon. Okay, so along this line, yeah, so we have that. Along this line, we have somewhere ACO3 normal. Okay. Now, ACO3. Okay. So, ACO3, if you see this ACO3 normal component is also your acceleration of. Okay, I still can't figure out. So let's just move on and we'll see.
Why is ACO3 not on C? Like, why didn't you put it on that line?
Sorry. So that the normal component of C. That's why it's not pointing towards C. So this is not the absolute component now. So the endpoint is not C. So if you play like join this one now, that.
Point of doing that.
So we have to complete the acceleration polygon because they might. I think they have asked in the question to find out the acceleration theta 3. They have asked to find out the theta 3 dot. So from that, I think we're gonna need it. So we have to complete. It's just a part of an acceleration polygon. So we have to complete that. So that's why.
The question was asking for theta 3 dot.
Think so. Yeah, determine the acceleration polygon for the mechanism. So first we have to complete the acceleration polygon for the whole mechanism, and then the angular acceleration of link 3.
Haven't we been using theta 3 dot?
No, acceleration of theta 3 double dot, acceleration, angular acceleration of link 3. Okay. So let's just see, we have a ACO3 here, and the normal component would be perpendicular to this one. Okay, now, and so this would be your, sorry, tangential component, ACO3 tangential you have. Okay, now if you focus on, where do we have, yeah, on this part, with respect to B3. Now with respect to B3, so AC B3 normal component, this one. So the direction is along this, the link. So this is the link. So this is the link, and the direction would be in this direction, because this is the negative direction. Okay, so if we now place this one on our acceleration polygon, So this line will give you AC, sorry, A normal, C B3, the normal, and the tangential component would be perpendicular to this. So yeah. Okay, yeah. To get the C in which direction, so this is how I think and we get the C is. So since all the points that we are drawing in all the direction that we are drawing in the acceleration polygon, so when we compare it to the mechanism that we have, so they are inverted. So that's how I got point C. So if you see like on your IRB2O2 for this one, so it was supposed to like as per the mechanism, it was supposed to be on this side, like this side, okay, not go on that side. So that's why like all the directions in our acceleration diagram is inverted in comparison to mechanism now. So that's why the triangle is also inverted. If the triangle doesn't invert, so that will not make some sense. So that's why this is the concept that I used to find out like in which direction the C is going to be. So yeah, if we know like if the C is going upstairs, so we can direct like we know the C. So the line perpendicular to point C and this baseline would be your tangential component. So if we draw a perpendicular line on this baseline, so this would be your tangential component, and we now know the normal component, this one. So this is your normal component, and I don't have space to write, so I'm just gonna highlight this only. I think that would make sense. So now for your this where is this B3, yeah, so we have the normal component for AC normal B3. Now the tangential component will lie perpendicular to this one, and that will also point towards C. So this will be a line which is perpendicular to this one, any line, and which is meeting C. So this is the point we get. So now we can get the darken for the magnitude of this one. So this will give you AC normal B3, and this is your AC B3 tangential. So now we have found the C and we know the directions, and this would be your tangential. So this completes our acceleration polygon because now we have completed the C. Okay, found the C. Now the question asks the angular acceleration of link 3. So if we focus on the new two equations that we had like these, so the angular acceleration would comes in AC B3 AC B2 no, let me just see, BO3 5.57, yeah. B3O3. So acceleration of B3O3, do we have B3O3? Yes, will give you the R B3O3 multiplied by the angular acceleration of 3 yeah, and the direction. So I'm not writing the direction, I'm just writing the magnitude, because we know the direction, we just only need the magnitude. Okay, so if you find out this from the acceleration polygon, so where would be your A B3O3? We have B3 here, so if you measure B3, sorry, this is the tangential component. So the tangential component of B3O3. So this is the tangential component of B3O3. So it's 1.6. You put it here, 1.6. The scale that I took was 1000. Divided by RB3O3, we already know RB3O3, so that is 5.57, and this will give me a number. I have to check it again. Anyone who can give me the number? I'll just. Okay.
Are these gonna be posted on the?
Yeah, about that. The last time also somebody asked me, and I said it will be posted, but I didn't post it because the video is already there. The video, they posted the video.
Yeah, but it's hard to see in the video because it's like it's hard for us to see now in person, but it's even harder on camera.
Oh, it's just because of the light, or it's just because of the handwriting? Okay. Okay, thank you. Yeah. So okay, I'll just post the handouts. So, but you have to figure out even in the handouts, because I have done some calculation over here. Then I have done some calculation on the next part. So definitely I will post it, and it is. Yeah. So I think by today or tomorrow I will post it.
And for the last lecture?
Yeah, for the last lectures also. So yeah, what is the number that we were calculating? Anybody? So the number so it gives me 287.25. The unit would be centimeter per second square. So yeah, this is the where is okay, and the direction, so the direction would be, what is this, clockwise. Yeah, direction would be clockwise, because if you see what is the net direction, so if you see the net direction is in this direction. If you make up now, so this is the net direction. So this net direction would try to rotate your link 3 in the direction which right now it is rotating. So that means your link 3 would speed up. So this is not a retardation, it's an acceleration.
Why did you divide by 5.57?
That's the radius. We know this magnitude. We need to find out this. So I just took this in denominator.
Can you repeat how you know it's clockwise?
Sorry?
Repeat why it's clockwise?
Yeah. So see, you see this is the acceleration that we used. Okay, so if you take the overall acceleration of this link, of the B3 link, so overall direction is this one. So that means this direction is trying to rotate your link 3 in your clockwise direction. So that's why it is speeding up, because the initial rotation direction is also the same. So this is acceleration, not retardation. So this is how we complete the acceleration polygon. I again remind you, in order to solve the acceleration polygon, first you have to complete this. Okay, so I would recommend you to practice as much as you can with your velocity polygons. So once you are through your velocity polygons, then I don't think you have some issues using acceleration polygons. So that's the only thing that we have. And do I have some other questions? Okay, yeah. So before we stop this up, so okay, again the two questions that we had, like the similar one. So we won't do this from the scratch, but just to ask you what's so acceleration image we just saw. Okay, so what if the input direction is changed? So right now the theta 2 was in clockwise. So what happened if your theta 2 would be counterclockwise? Any guesses? What about if the theta, if we reverse the input direction, what do you think would happen to the acceleration polygon? I think it would, it just didn't help. What happened to the velocity polygon in the last lecture, because we drew from the scratch, we changed the input direction, then we saw what happened. So what do you think it would affect the acceleration polygon if we change the input direction? So right now it is constant clockwise. If we move it counterclockwise, what would happen? Yeah, with the whole acceleration polygon, not just only one point.
Yeah, the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What happened?
What?
I just flipped the input direction. It is now clockwise, na? So what will happen to the polygon?
The whole thing.
Flip. About what?
Oh. About OA?
Yeah. About 08, everything will flip up. Okay. And you can draw that, like it would be very easy. I would recommend you to see what would happen if you change the input direction. That would be a little practice for you. And yeah, what would happen if we change the input rate, rotation rate? So initially, both the questions are similar to the velocity polygon. So what would you think? What would happen if we double the input rate? So
The scale would change.
not the scale.
No, I mean like the magnitude.
Yeah, the magnitude. So what, just an extra question from my side. So what happens, suppose I have asked you to find out what is the direction of theta double dot 3 at the end of the acceleration polygon. So we just did the calculation, we found out some value. So now the next question, if suppose it comes in your examination, find the theta, new value of theta double dot 3 when the input rotation rate is changed by the scaled up to 2 and the direction is also changed. So will you draw the whole mechanism from scratch, or you will be able to answer? How would you? Yeah, you'll just simply flip the sign and scaled up the magnitude. Okay, because I have already shown you in the last time how the magnitude is scaling up. So I think, yeah, for the acceleration polygon, now I think you are in a good shape if you practice couple of problem, and I think in your problem sets, so you will be very good to go for your exams. Questions?
How many questions are going to be on the midterm?
Oh, I don't know, because yeah, thank you. So I don't know, I have not seen, I mean I haven't talked to the prof regarding that, so I won't be able to tell you specifically about that. Yeah. So best of luck, guys, for your upcoming midterm and the midterms that you are having for your next other subjects. And I will be posting all these notes upstairs, so you will be fine. I will be posting the notes that you have requested on the Quercus, so you will be fine. Thank you.